What is up, winning team? Hello, welcome everybody. And today we are going to be talking about, we're going to be reviewing, this is a part of our current science series. We're exploring quantum mechanics, quantum physics, all of that, mainly because we're currently reading a book. Where is the book? I've got so much different stuff here, like it's a joke. Beyond the Veil, Exploring the Bubble Theory and the Fourth Dimension by Jamil Chamberlain. And we are currently about to start chapter 13 in the next iteration of the next chapter, of this, the next video about this. But in the meantime, we've taken a little detour because we're talking about the validity of science based on, first of all, a commentary by a scientist, a physicist, a theorist, a particle theorist by the name of Sabine Hossenfelder, who has critiqued modern physics and modern science and is essentially suggesting that we have lacked how she lost trust in scientific self-correction in the scientific community and the implications for our understanding of a lot of fundamentals in physics itself. I just did, I think, a 4-part video going through that full commentary, and now we're going to be reviewing and commenting ourselves on a letter she received from one of the people she knows in the field itself. I will, of course, link everything, including the series, including all of this in the description box below. I'm also going to put her actual video in the playlist for you guys to watch if you would like to see it for yourself. But essentially, we're going to read the response. If you want to know what that's all about, you're going to have to go there and catch up with all of it. But essentially what she's been saying and where she's been going with it is that she realized that as opposed to scientists, science essentially has become subject to the same social and cognitive biases that we see in social settings where, if you want to hear more about that, like I said, I went into depth about my personal understanding and thoughts on that in the previous videos. Check all of those out to catch up. So the response from a peer that she knows, somebody she's met a few times but doesn't know very deeply, is this. And she's taken out some of the details. I'm going to read the email that she received. This is insane. I am blank. If you remember, I'm just going to call them blank because I'm not going to make up a name and then try to remember it. I can't be bothered. I am blank. If you remember me, I'm not using my work email. The topic is a bit delicate and I hope that our conversation will remain confidential. So obviously that's why she's decided not to share that person's details. And again, why in a field that prides itself off of being trustworthy and worthy and all of those things, why is it delicate and why does this need to be confidential? The whole point of posting papers and having journals and being seen as credible is the fact that everything is supposed to be out on the table so everybody can critique for themselves, and any critiques should also be out on the table because we're supposed to be so sure in what we've studied or what we're claiming to know or have done that we can put it all out there. And this is already proving exactly what she was saying in her commentary. I'm contacting you regarding a recent paper in Nature which made a lot of noise. First of all, congratulations on a nice paper. If you wanted to attract attention, you managed to do this. You see, oh my gosh. Actually, I'd like to ask you next time, think not only about short-term personal benefits, but about the community in general. Oh, I already hate where this is going. You understand what consequences your publication might bring for our community. What are all these BSM model builders with exaggerated self-opinion going to do afterwards? So BSM, she's put in the video here, beyond the standard model. So this is a concept I didn't even know existed until this, the beyond the standard model builders. I guess that I would also be under that category, right? So what's the standard model again? You see how even in science, this was just talking about the social and cognitive biases. Even in the science, I talked a lot about this in the previous video as well, you're expected to follow the rules, which technically doesn't make sense because science is always about questioning everything. Anywho. What about experimentalists who survive hiding inside big multi TeV, which I don't know what TeV, electron volt collaborations? Can you offer them, high energy, I'm assuming they mean high energy, what's it called? Photon? I don't remember, but anyway. Can you offer them any decent employment alternatives? Oh my gosh. This is slavery in its finest. This is what I'm saying to you guys about the kingdom of darkness. The kingdom of darkness has everybody enslaved. When the Bible says Jesus came to set us free, right? That who the sun sets free is free indeed. This is what it's talking about. Everybody ends up in slavery, and it always is the same exact story. It always comes down to the same things: living in life, because we all have to trust in something to have life. And if that ain't God, that's probably money. And so again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, God is the money of this world. Some of them have families and young children. You see, this is what happens. The same thing that the Kingdom of Darkness does in the entertainment industry in Hollywood when they're talking about, if you sign this record deal, sign your life away, sign your soul away, and I'll make sure that you have enough money that you'll never have to worry about looking after your family ever again. I told you. That's the devil's temptation trio: money, power, fame. Some of them have families and young children. Some of them are already too old to get employment elsewhere. For some of them, academia is the only way to get a US visa, right? She's also from Frankfurt, Germany. I should have mentioned. She did say it. That was said in her paper. This all happened 7 years ago, by the way. So the fact, and again, this is my question when people talk about my generation. I'm talking about this now. I've just come to find this out. 7 years ago, I was 20 years old studying my degree. What's the rest of the adult population doing? Because like, if I figured out all this stuff, anyway, I don't know what people are doing, like the people that came before. But anyway, if you like, yes, what we created is a bubble, but it helps thousands of guys and their families not die from hunger. So again, this is what the true form of slavery is to me. It's where we're doing this just to survive. And it even reminds me of L. Ron Hubbard, who's the father of Scientology, right? Or as I like to see him, the god of Scientology. We also have a playlist. We also have a playlist on that. I told you I have a playlist where I've got a playlist about the Quran. I'm about to start a playlist about Mormonism. Oh my gosh, sorry, I'm looking for my pen. Hold on. So in the Scientology playlist, you guys will notice that I talked about how L. Ron Hubbard, at the start of his book, Dianetics, which we read through as well, series on that as well, check that out. We read through together. His basis was that he understood that fundamentally human beings, one thing he noticed is in traveling the whole world is that everybody has their primary thought and their primary driving force is the will to survive, survival strategy. And so I'm proposing the theory that what if the Kingdom of Darkness's greatest goal is to get us to put our belief or our trust in our ability to survive in anything but God? Because then if it's anything but God, we become enslaved to that thing. Exactly like what he's saying here. Because now it's like, we would love to be doing, essentially this is what it's giving, right? We would love to be doing this. It's like what happens when I mentioned that I'm going to homeschool my own kids. And people say, I would love to do that, but unfortunately I can't because I have to work. So it's not that people don't recognize the issues of the school system. It's that you recognize that you don't have the ability, the capability to do such because you're enslaved. You're enslaved. And so even if there's other better options of things to do, and you yourself can see the issues in the school system, instead, the only option is at least to survive by having money, even if it means sending your children to indoctrination camps where they're going to be unsupervised amongst all different kinds of kids who are going to influence them, and they're going to spend a significant amount of their time there. You get the gist. So this is what I'm saying. It's slavery to me. If you like, yes, we created as a bubble, but it helps thousands of those and their families not die from hunger. It's so extreme. We all do the same stuff and have some trade secrets. For example, I am one of the authors of the so-called blank model. Pretty useless stuff, old, refurbished, blank with a couple of new blows and whistles. But if people buy this blank crap and it helps them to get grants, who cares? So he's acknowledging, or she, why am I assuming? See, I'm doing the same thing, but anyway, whatever. So this person is basically saying, yes, I know that I've essentially just taken it's like, you know, those people on social media who find like somebody selling, like I think people like this are the 4D chess players of the world, right? Where they'll find like, like a wardrobe on Facebook Marketplace for like $20 or like whatever that somebody's getting rid of, and then they'll like refurbish it themselves, and they'll just like, you know, they'll sand it down, they'll add a layer of varnish, add a layer of varnish, do whatever, and it looks even better than even the original looks like, but it's still the same exact wardrobe. That's exactly what he's essentially saying is what these people are doing, right? And then sell that wardrobe for like $300 instead, or whatever. That's exactly what he's saying here is essentially what they're doing. And his reasoning and his justification is because we need to put food on the table. Ladies and gentlemen, it's slavery. Just like this is like the Israelites. When the Israelites were in Egypt, why did they start to cry out to God in the wilderness? They were upset because When they were in Egypt, at least they knew that, yes, they were slaves, but they were getting fed and they knew where they were going. Now God was asking them to have faith. He was providing for them every day. He was guiding them by a pillar of clouds by day and a pillar of fire by night. And he was taken to the promised land. But their faith struggled. They even built themselves another God themselves and started, worshipping it, because they now were in a state where they had to trust in God as opposed to the comfortability of slavery. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about it. Because this is what it is in modern day. Anyway, whatever. For people who pay us, all we do is just noise. They have zero idea that elementary particles exist. They pay us from public funds, not from their own. Oh my gosh. Not the taxes. And I've been talking a lot about tax on this channel because I'm just like I said, you're working to, again, it's another form of slavery. You work, you pay your tax, believing it's going to all these things. You're saying them like your kids going to school. Your tax money is being spent well. We're overworked, underpaid, not looked after. The kids, oh my gosh, guys, I could literally, oh my gosh, we're not even gonna. You should watch all my videos, really, guys, because I talk about all this stuff. And basically pay for, they pay us from public funds, not from their own, and basically pay for something cool, some new crazy hype, which they need either to include into their science spending reports or, in case of universities, to attract students. Jesus Christos. So literally exactly what I'm saying. It's all fake. How many times have I told you guys, this world is just one play and everyone's just actors. Like, seriously, it's all a play. This is what the enemy does. He gets you with your eyes. Just like it says in the Bible, in Genesis. What does it say that Eve thought when she saw the fruit, right? Let's not talk about devil fruits and the sun tree, the Eve tree in One Piece, which is the sun tree, which is some people suggesting may have stemmed, that all the devil fruits came from that tree, which again goes with the Bible. I also have a One Piece series, go check it out. So when the woman, this is Genesis 3, chapter 6. So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, are you listening? Oh my gosh, right. It's the same thing. Nothing has changed. This is what I'm telling you guys. Nothing has changed. The tree was good for food and that it was a delight to the eyes, right? And that the tree was desired to make one wise. She took of its fruit and ate. Good for food, delight to the eyes, desired to make one wise. Are you guys understanding what I'm saying here? Are you understanding? That's how the devil gets us. And the Bible tells us clearly, literally in Genesis chapter 3. You don't have to get past Genesis chapter 3 to understand all that you need to know in the Bible. I have read the whole Bible just for the sake of anybody who doesn't know that. Doesn't mean I understand it all, because you never will, and no one ever will other than the Lord. Anyway, let's continue. You get the gist. Your paper made a lot of noise and most likely will affect redistribution of HEP funds, higher energy physics, I believe. Sorry, she did put it on the screen, but I just missed it by accident. Higher energy physics towards other areas, but I doubt that you will be able to suggest and implement any organizational changes. So basically, also any changes of quality criteria. So a lot of the stuff he's saying, he's fighting back. She or he, why am I assuming it's a dude? It's just giving, just sounds like the way men speak, especially to women in science. That's what I was going to say. I don't want to be the person to say it, but as somebody who's, as a scientist, gets critiqued all the time, and especially harsher critique as a female, because it's you definitely don't know what you're talking about. Let's just let you know, you just pipe down now, you little lady, you don't know what you're talking about. There's a lot of that I experience, even when it comes to religion. Is just as a young woman, in general, with any considered a level of intelligence, the way that men speak to me is in condescending, patronizing manners is just insane. And it's only the men. The women don't do that. They tend to be excited to see another woman in the field. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. It's of course you would think that. You just sit down. You don't know how the rules go around here, okay? Listen, this is a big boys club, okay? You shut the fuck up, get back in the kitchen and start putting some kids pop some babies in that oven over there. Go and cry over that week of the month every year. That week of the month every month, right? Go and sob with all your feelings on the side. Let us do the real stuff. That's what it feels like. That's what it's giving. That's why I keep saying he by accident, but it's blank. But I doubt that you'll be able to suggest and implement any organizational changes. That's an assumption. And even if she can't, that doesn't mean that she shouldn't speak up. Because again, this is what I'm saying about selling out, selling your soul. Selling your soul always leads to slavery. Like, why are you putting that pressure on her for doing what we're saying we're doing? Because one could argue, and I will argue this point, that what about the overall effects of history and science and the public, where people are making decisions, trusting scientists, trusting that we're supposed to be the intelligent group of the society, right? So I could argue that the net damage that does overall of lying is worse than the net damage of these people losing funding. Because also, if they're losing funding, guess what? Maybe that funding can actually go somewhere that's actually going to produce something. Maybe those scientists, and like she said in her thing, need to switch gears themselves. It's almost as if. Also, any changes of quality criteria would demonstrate uselessness of somebody's work or have zero chance of approval. Okay. I understand that all what I wrote above might sound a bit harsh. Sorry for this. Shut the frick up, man. But this is how our society is built. You see what I'm saying? Slavery again. This is just what it is. This is just how it is. This is just, it's everywhere. I tell you guys, it's everywhere. This is what I'm saying. The devil he's playing everybody like a freaking fiddle. And everybody's just getting in line like the obedient little cowards that society is. Seriously. I understand that all what I wrote about might sound a bit harsh, sorry for this, but this is how our society is built, and this is not only a problem in the HEP community, but also exists in all other areas. My heart is bleeding when I regularly see bright and intelligent persons with independent ways of thinking leaving academia or getting kicked out, whereas obedient idiots remain. Tell them, that's what I'm talking about. But there is nothing we can do. Yes, there is. Because the power is with the people. How many times do I have to say this? Every single video that I make, no matter what I'm talking about, the conclusion always comes back to the powers with the people. If the devil was that powerful, then why didn't he just destroy the world on his own? Why did he have to tempt Eve to eat the fruit in the first place? Why did he have to corrupt humankind? It's almost as if God gave us the power. It's almost as if you go a chapter before, God says, and I gave dominion to the people. He gave us dominion to rule on this earth. And then he told us to be fruitful and multiply. Hello? Don't know how hard this is to understand. I don't know why this is so hard. Right, my heart is bleeding when I regularly... No, it isn't. Your heart is enslaved as well, because you're literally saying that you're going along with this. Those who get kicked out usually find better opportunities outside of academia. Those who remain in academia accept the rules and enjoy the comfort of slavery. He says comfort of academic life. You see what I'm saying? Comfort. Slavery is comfort. It doesn't sound like it, and it sounds like a wild statement. And the only reason why it sounds like a wild statement is because you've been programmed to think it like that, right? You've actually been programmed. Because if you think about it, it's true. And I use the example of the Israelites. They might be slaves, right? That was their thinking. But they know what job they have to do. They know where they have to show up, and they know what the number is going to be of money that they're going to get. Their food is guaranteed and whatever. That's easier than the option of trusting in God, for example, even though he was providing and whatever, but not as they wanted and not whatever. But we naturally are comfortable. That was something new. That was something different. That was something uncomfortable, right? What was comfortable in the end turned out, at least I know I'm going to eat. At least I'm going to have food. At least I'm going to whatever. That's the same as people today. People like, as long as I can tick a couple of check boxes and a little sprinkle of being able to do some things I enjoy, that's good enough. Because going outside that and going outside of the rules, oh no, chaos. Of course, sometimes there are exceptions like string theorists, Smolin and Voigt, but I doubt you would like to share their destiny. Okay, so she goes on to say what their destiny is here, I think. Okay, let's what happened to Smolin and Voigt. Hold on, we'll be right back. So I can't seem to find what happened to these people, and I'm not going to spend more time dwelling. I will say that it's interesting that a lot of critical thinkers happen to be scientists and creatives. L. Ron Hubbard is one of them, also, who shares that nature. Right, so let's continue. I think, is that the whole letter? Yeah, I think that's the whole of the letter. Okay, we killed it. We did the damn thing. Oh, we killed it. Interesting. All right, so it looks like we've read through the whole letter. Anyways, so you guys get the gist of what I'm trying to say here, and you can see the implications of what I'm stating. Hold on, let me just move this so I can get a better. So you guys can see where I'm coming from, right? Essentially, what we're seeing here is all of these scientists, in one way or another, have are upset with this, purely based not off the science, not because she said anything wrong. The literal person in this letter that is critiquing her is saying, you're right, but your rightness is rocking the boat of what we're in. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, why I believe the world is enslaved in so many different areas. It reminds me of when Moses, again, another example, for biblical example, right? This is why Moses developed anxiety, right? Nobody talks about this. When he had lived away from his people, because his mom gave him up, right? He then comes back and he discovers his people are being mistreated and he kills one of the guards or whatever. People would have thought, people don't talk about that part of Moses, right? They always talk about, oh, Moses had anxiety. They don't talk about the fact that prior to that, he came in trying to help his people. I can relate to this story so much, except I'm going to try my best not to develop the anxiety, right? They were upset him rocking the boat, even though he was trying to stop their oppressors. They were more happy being oppressed. Because it's like, don't rock the boat, don't make things worse. And then things did actually get worse before they then were freed by God. And of course, they blamed him for coming in and trying to help his people. That's the nature of humans for you, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the nature of society. People want to follow the rules because it's comfortable, right? It's comfortable. And it's not comfortable in like a, yay, it's amazing, but it's good. It's not so uncomfortable that you want to make a change. And that is the key. That is the smart plan. I can't believe we got to this all from me trying to evaluate science and physics. And again, this Smolin and Voigt that were mentioned, as I was just doing a little, figuring out exactly what these people did, they were questioning physics again. This is what I want people to understand when you're out here trusting science like it is your messiah. Science is not your messiah. Science is a liar. What if science is a liar and not your messiah? Seriously though, because this is what people be acting like. People be looking at people like me like crazy, like, oh yeah, I'm so much more intelligent than you because I trust in the science. Okay. How much science do you know? Because most of those people, not only have they not done anywhere close to the deep dive in science as I have, they've not even bothered to question God in the first place. And that's my other thing to say to people. For me, I don't look at one thing and I'm like, God was never the understood, like he has to be right and I'm only going to look at him as right. But it's just that he just proved time and time again, he's the reigning champion. Look at him in any kind of area you look at and he takes the dub. And he's ahead. He's like 100,000 times ahead. He's probably looking at us thinking, oh, you guys are so cute. We're attempting science right now. You think you're doing something. You're like, you really think you're doing something. You're like when a kid first learns how to jump, right? And they just start or run. And they just run back and forth. And it's like the greatest thing that ever happened. And all they do is run back and forth. Right? Whoa, I can run. That's what we look like. As scientists trusting in science. God's like, oh, go on, guys. Go on. Whoa! While we're here, he's like, oh, you guys thinking of the dimension now. Oh, well done, guys. Did you cute? I actually hate society because, like, this is why. Because people really be thinking they know. This is what I'm saying. You got to be critical thinkers. Science ain't your messiah. Science is a liar. Oh my gosh. Can you believe it? Anyways, guys, we're going to leave that there. We will continue on with the book. This is one of many detours that's going to happen as a result of this book. So yeah, buckle up and stay tuned. And like I said, guys, I say all of this out of love. I want to see you guys win. I want to see you win. I want to see everybody win. My dream is that we all win together. The winning team, winning is for everybody. I've said that before. I believe winning is for everybody. I believe the way that the world functions is done in such a way that we just have this accepted low standard of living that doesn't have to be the way that we live. But we've done it because we're all got this new airbrushed version of slavery which is modern living, right? And we've just given ourselves into it. And we've just trusted in it because that's what's being done and that's the norm. But I think from the events of the last 5-10 years, we should be able to tell you, not just that, but things we've been talking about, that maybe these things that we trust in are not so trustworthy after all. And also, your slave master can pivot at any moment. The same way that the Israelites were complaining to God when he freed them from slavery. Pharaoh at any moment could just kill them. Pharaoh at any moment could have just decided to kill them, and then what? And then what happens? Because their trust is in that. Just like how you could get fired at any moment. People lose their minds because they lost their jobs. I was watching Beast Games, and can I tell you that I cried like every episode watching how people were so desperate to win money because of everything was about things they needed to solve. My son has a disease that hasn't got a cure. I need to pay off my student loan debt. I want to, help my parents to buy them a home because they're going to retire soon. Everybody was enslaved to this. Like, if we can get this money, this life-changing. How about instead of life-changing, go to where life is given, and that is Christ, ladies and gentlemen. Jesus is your Messiah. Science is a liar. And that's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. Buckle up and stay tuned. We'll see what the other videos are going to be on the channel today. Who knows? I don't. Actually, I do. Actually, no. We're going to go back to... I don't know. We'll just flow in the spirit. But I say this out of love, guys. I want to see everybody win. My dream is for us all to win. For everybody to be living full and happy lives, have time to spend with your loved ones, have time to work and do work that you enjoy, that makes you happy. You know what I mean? So anyways, you guys, if life's game is paid to win, God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one.